In this video, I'm going to convince you that you should never ask yourself whether you deserve something or not. And let me tell you why. So let's say that you don't deserve something, that you think that you don't deserve something, and you don't get that thing. Well, then the outcome is neutral. Nothing happens. Let's now say that you think that you deserve something and you don't get it. Well, then you're gonna grow very disappointed and resentful. And do you know what happens if you are disappointed and resentful? Well, you are less likely to put in the work that is necessary to make progress. For instance, let's say that you've finally convinced yourself that you are brave enough to do a cold approach. Then you do a cold approach because you think that you deserve a hot blonde. And then you get rejected, let's say 50 times. Well, then you're gonna be very disappointed and resentful, and because you've been rejected so many times, you are less likely to ask out again, and so you will make even less progress. You will instead turn inward. Your mind will go to war against itself. And this is not the way it's supposed to be. Life isn't meant to live with your mind at war against yourself. So it's not just that you will feel disappointed, it's also the case that if you feel disappointed over and over again, that you are less likely to do things that will then make you get the things that you want. But before we get to that, let's now discuss what happens if you don't deserve something, if you think that you don't deserve something, and you then still get something. In other words, if you get a positive surprise. Well, in this case, you may think that it's good because you are grateful. But the thing is, if lucky things happen to you over and over again, you'll start to think that it's not you who's getting lucky, it's that you deserve to be lucky. So you'll go essentially to this one, and then you have a great risk at going to this one, which once again leads to disappointment and resentment. When you get lucky over and over again, something like this will happen. I am grateful because this good thing happened. I am grateful because this good thing happened. I am grateful because this good thing happened. I am grateful because I am special. You see, at one point, you'll reach a false conclusion. You'll get correct, but then you'll be wrong. Kind of like a lot of philosophers these days, they will argue, but then their conclusion will be wrong. And so what happens if you think that you don't deserve something and you get it is that you will slowly grow arrogant. But when you then grow arrogant, you are super likely to switch to this quadrant where you will be disappointed and resentful. And so, let's say that you think that you deserve something and then also get that thing. Then you get to this quadrant. In this case, your gratitude will obviously be less because your ego will be higher. But there is also another thing that will happen, which is that your ego will grow even faster compared to this case. So, as you can see, it's kind of a cycle. At first, you don't know whether you deserve something, and you don't know whether you'll get it, so you have no ego attached to this thing, so nothing happens. Then something good happens, and you grow grateful, but then over time, you grow arrogant. So then this happens, you grow less grateful, and your ego is even greater. And because you will get good at that thing, you will start to convince yourself that you deserve it. But then suddenly you don't get that thing anymore, and you will get disappointed and resentment again. And so you'll go back to living without an ego and essentially repeat that cycle. But as you can see, it's a cycle. Although some people skip steps, they go from this step directly to this step and then get disappointed once again. Some people skip steps, but however, it's a cycle, and you can only escape that cycle by not asking yourself the question whether you deserve something or not. And let me tell you, if you don't ask yourself the question whether you deserve something or not, your life will be a lot more peaceful, because whether you then get something or not, nothing changes. And that will allow you to do the actions that actually bring you forward. So let me illustrate. Let's return to the cold approach example. If you don't care whether you deserve a hot blunt or not, you are more likely to just speak to them. If you just speak to them, you are less needy and thus more likely to actually have a good conversation. But if you think that you deserve something and you don't get it, you get disappointed. If you think that you deserve something and you get it, you will be more needy, and thus your conversations will be a bit worse. Even if it's not noticeable at all, you will start to feel it after a short while. And the same applies to the gym, for instance. A lot of people ask themselves whether they deserve muscle or not after they have been training for a few months or years. Well, but the thing is, if you ask yourself whether you deserve something, you detract energy from the gym towards asking yourself. And this is bad. The same with money. If you think about whether you deserve an income or not, you are less likely to build a product, because you'll convince yourself that your product is actually trash and thus not worth building, because you don't know whether it's good or not. So you're very likely to just be led astray by your ego because you don't have enough data. And so you can only lose by asking yourself the question whether you deserve something or not. In this world, you need to put yourself out there. You need to open yourself. You need to turn outward in order to make progress. But by asking yourself the question whether you deserve something or not, you are turning yourself inward. And thus you will suffer. And that suffering will be pointless. It's not like the kind of suffering where you get that pump. It's like pointless suffering, because you're turned inward and not outward. And so you can live without that question. You can live without asking yourself whether you deserve something or not. And many people do so. You probably know an idiot who has never asked himself whether he deserves something or not, who is jacked because he just trains without any of these mental walls. You perhaps also know a retard who has a hot blonde, and it's not exactly clear why, because he would be a low status guy if we listed all the criteria like status, money, looks and so on. But he just doesn't care, so he gets what he wants. And same with money. You know idiots who make money because they never ask themselves whether their product is good or not. So you can clearly live without that question. You can clearly live without the concept of deserving versus non-deserving. And that will make you more peaceful, because you will just focus on the actions. And so I encourage you to do the same. Just dismiss these concepts. Focus on getting the things that need to be done, and your life will be more peaceful. My name's Gerard. I've been on self-improvement for 5 years. I'm 18 years old. I started my first business at 13. And my goal is to inspire 10,000 good decisions. And so, if this video helped you, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.